A new challenge for both league racing and WXL in general. Welcome back, of course, to the famed World Acceleration League for Season 4. Yes, you heard right, Season 4 of this very league. And for starters, we begin with the most newest concept in league racing. The Formula 2 cars have been added into Formula 1 2019, and just as well as that, we have a fantastic racing prospect of what sets to be a non-stop action streams all the way through. There is no lull in qualifying. That has been eliminated thanks to the new system, which we will talk about later here today. But of course, joining me in the combox, if you're unaware, my name of course is Elsie on our head. I've been here since day one of this very league and commented on the very first race at Australia in WXL, the beginning of a new era for league racing. And well, it's a pleasure to be here as per usual. Alongside me is a man that joins me for this season, and I'm sure is very excited to be here just as much as I am for this brilliant concept for the new season. I am joined by Scar Friend. Scar, let's just briefly talk about this new concept, because you've got to be quick in both F2 and F1 cars to really have a chance to be a champion.
Yeah, you showed me the concept before we started, and you told me about it, and in the back of my mind I was thinking, I'm going to struggle at first, but I've got it now. But yeah, you need to be quick in both. So you need to have the setup for F2 and F1 cars. It's going to be difficult strategy-wise, I feel like, deciding what to do when, because you've got to think fast.
Yeah, of course. Now, you may notice we have gone early in the lobby. That is to be able to fully explain to you, as best as possible as we possibly can, this concept, because it's not familiar with league racing as it is. It's a bit more of a different one for the guys. And also, we can then take a run through the teams, because as you'll notice when we tell you how it's going to work, we haven't really got a moment to talk about who's going to be driving in what car for the season. So that is why we are still in the lobby, just awaiting to go. But we'll talk about the concept. And well, let's just start with the most simplest format and way of putting it. So what this is a league that will combine both F2 and F1, putting them together into one weekend. To start things off, we will begin with a one-shot quali in the Formula 2 cars, with everyone working with their teammate in the respective F2 and F1 cars together. The grid for the one-shot quali will then be determined in a 5-lap race. The results of the 5 laps will then become our grid for the Formula 1 race, which means there is no element of qualifying in the F1 cars. It's straight from the Formula 2 cars in to the hefty, massive units that is the F1 cars as well, which means everyone has to keep their focus and also, as mentioned before, be just as quick in the F2 cars as well as the F1 cars. So it really could create what could be a fantastic new concept for league racing, and also eliminate the sort of lull you get. I'm sure viewers, you understand as well from time to time that during a couple of minutes of qualifying, not many people out, there's not really a lot going on. That is exterminated here, because all we have is constant non-stop action. But well, we'll talk about the teams, Tom, because of course we briefly explained about the concept as well. We'll continue to explain it as we go along, as you'll see via the pictures unfolding. But we'll start with the teams, and we'll list the F2 car, and then we will list the F1 car. So we'll start off with the Dams team, which it will become the Mercedes, and we have the defending two-time WXL champion KJ Gamer. Alongside him, the man formerly known as Sync Bottas, now known as Bottas 94, is that team. A very formidable one in there, and one to watch out for the constructors. Who have we got up next, Tom?
Up next, in for F1 will be McLaren, and for F2 will be MP Motorsport. And in those seats will be Luca and ESR Amazed. I've not seen Luca race, but I have seen ESR Amazed race before, and very competitive, I think.
Well, you might recognise Luca from his original gamer tag. Bacon Yum is the gamer tag
Yes.
of Luca, the runner-up of last season. Yep, he has changed his gamer tag over the season, but it's going to be racing in the orange McLaren and also in the MP Motorsport car in F2, alongside the Scotsman of ESR Amazed, who could have probably had a race victory towards the end of last season, you have to say. Was very unlucky. Moving so along, we've got Chiros next up in D, which is alongside the Ferrari team in F2 and F1 respectively. They have got a man that came third place in last season's championship, and always the bridesmaid, never the bride in Waystor. Alongside him is a new man to the WXL for the season. It is the German of Unlucky Cheetah, a fantastic team, of course, Ferrari Academy and the Ferrari team combining in that one as well. We're moving swiftly along to the next one, Tom, and who have we got?
In the yellow banana of Renault, and the F2 team of Campos will be BOR Hamilton and Adam Lee. Adam Lee, I think, is pretty well known throughout the community. He's good. I like him. I've seen him race before. I've seen him race a few times. I like him. BOL Hamilton as well. I think both drivers, strong lineup. Who we got after that?
Well, yep, of course, BR Hamilton definitely want to watch out for as well. Moving to 50 along, we have the Russian time team, which is also, of course, being an F1 represented by Red Bull. So we have Russian time and Red Bull in that one. And it is going to be King Liam 25, a man that's always to watch out for last season in the Sauber and had a few missed races towards them last season, didn't quite have the opportunity. Alongside him is a new man to the WXL scene. It is Squidgy Genie Free, and what is a good friendship team in those two. They should get along like a house on fire. And who is up next? It's a sister team for Red Bull, Tom, but who is in it alongside the F2?
Yeah, in Toro Rosso, it will be LCR PT and LR Dasher. That F2 team will be Trident, that they'll both be racing for. Good lineup. I think I've not seen PT, but I've seen LR Dasher. But I feel that both of them will be quick already, just from the history in WXL. But yeah, so LR Dasher and LCR PT.
Yeah, of course, moving to Philon, we're running out a bit of time here, but in the Alfa Romeo and ART team, we have Callum G and F1 Gravity, who is in the Racing Point and BWT team, as we are running out of time here.
That'll be Pepsi Max and Artie, who will be in the Williams and Carling.
Jolly and Jack Spark representing in the Carlin and the Williams. They have now just aborted the start, so it must be that we are getting ready. And finally up, Tom, is Hassan Prima, and who are in that team?
Yeah, in the American F1 team and the Italian F2 team will be Trolled and Aaron Battle Plays. Obviously, Trolled, well known throughout the community. We know him personally. He's massively improved in pace, I think, over the last few months. And also between the games, he's gotten a lot of pace. So good luck to him. And Aaron Bat Plays as well. I apologise. I've not seen that name before. Prospect, in my opinion, I'm not sure. He could be good.
Raced a little bit in WXL in previous seasons, but we're now quickly jumping into the F2 one-shot qualifier. Now, of course, this will determine the grid for the 5-lap sprint that will determine the grid for the Formula 1 race. The first thing first. Well, to be honest with you, Tom, you have to say, for us, as well as, of course, the viewers, I'm pretty sure this might be one of the first times you've seen the F2 cars be participated in a league race. So this is a fantastic opportunity and really a first hands-on experience for the drivers as well.
Yeah, and of course, we're only going to see a bit of them in qualifying, but throughout the race we'll get to see a lot more of them. I think that the F2 cars have been done quite well in this game. They don't handle like F1 cars. You've got to be a little bit more careful on the braking in the corners. So it'll be interesting to see how people adapt to the new cars, the new physics for the cars, as well as we wait for just one person. It seems Liam is having some trouble loading in there.
Well, it looks like we might already have an issue with the game. We might have to restart already in this one, and it would be WXL without a few restarts in the season. Now, always cast your mind back to last season in season 3, by the way. I'll fill the time with a bit of conversation. And it was Germany. It was myself and Big Will on commentary, and I had, without a doubt, one of the most unusual qualifying sessions in the history of league racing I've done commentary in league racing now for coming on 3 years. I've never had a more weird qualifying, because what it was one of those sessions where it was dry at the beginning, and as the race went on, as the quali went on, it got wet, and it just continued to get wetter and wetter, so the drivers couldn't improve. It was a matter of getting their lap time in, and after that, that was it, as we'd losing drivers, so I believe we will have a restart. But last season's qualifying is definitely one to match, because we lost all the drivers. We had a full grid of 20, and everyone had retired with 3 minutes to go, so we had an early finish in qualifying. I think this one has got to do something to really match that, as we are just waiting for the final few to leave, because hopefully now, once we go in, it should then just be able to kick us out, I hope, because there's now only 2 drivers left, Shadows and Aaron Batts Plays, but I don't think it will. But, we're in, so I can now just leave without having to restart the stream. But, yeah, Tom, so my point here is qualifying session WXL have been a bit of an unusual one. We might see another one here today. What is it going to be a difficult track to get that one lap right, especially in the one-shot quali, because, Albert Park, easy track to cut, especially at the likes of 11 and 12. So, good drivers got to keep their wits.
Yeah, and of course, it will only be one-shot qualifying. So, as it says, it's in the title, one shot. If you if you make a mistake, if you cut a corner, that's it. That's your lap done. You can't really recover from it. So I think it will be interesting to see how accurate some of the drivers are going to be going into the corners, and especially Australia being so easy to corner cut and get an invalidated lap as well. I've had experience in the past, at least, with that.
Yeah, of course, it's unfortunately this is an issue, but we will get it sorted as soon as possible. As you see, we're just back in the lobby. We're just waiting to get everyone back in, and I'm sure the wait time in between the F2 and F1 races shouldn't be too long, because I imagine we'll come straight out, sort out the lobby settings, and off we go again back into the lobby. But yeah, we've got a fantastic race in prospect nevertheless. We're just waiting to get going, and just talking about the Australian circuit in general. Of course, this season WXL were pretty used to using custom seasons. They use their own calendar, but this season they've gone for the full actual calendar, which I think about it, it gives you time to prep, and it also kind of helps with other league racing scenes as well, because you kind of get the experience of being at Australia, then you get experience at Bahrain, so it does kind of help with your flow as you carry on through the season. KJ Gamer invited me, but I'm already in the lobby, one step ahead on that one. But nevertheless, always a bit of an issue from time to time with streams, but this happens unfortunately. But once we have a brief, I want to just get the lobby sorted, Tom. Just a quick question on potential favourites for the season. Is anyone you're keeping your eye on to try and sort of be a potential shock for this season, or is it still going to be the usual suspects towards the front?
I don't know. I've not really had that. There are one or two drivers that I know, like, hands down. But most of the drivers here, I've only seen, across leagues or from the commentator box, or heard of them. I think, I can't remember what season, but Canada, WXL Canada, is where I first saw KJ Gamer. And he had massive pace, so he could potentially be the leading man. However, Liam also has massive pace, and he could potentially be the leading man. It's all a mystery right now. I think as the season unfolds, it will easily become clear. But it's just a question of how quickly does it become clear. There could be 3 races where the driver's completely dominant, or it could be, a massive title to the very end of the season.
But yeah, of course, the interesting point as well about the incidents which is going on here and the stuff like that. Of course, as the season goes on, of course, we have the F2 2018 cars at the moment, and I believe it's sort of the end of August we're going to get our hands on the 2019 cars. So the guys are going to get used to these new F2 cars that they've got now. They come next month, in the space of a weekend, they're just going to change all of a sudden, and they're going to have their hands on the new ones. So, even though that the season's going to go on and the guys are going to get used to the feel of the F2 and F1 cars, they're still always changing every single week. So it's still going to continue to be every single week's going to become a learning curve.
I think, in a way, I do feel sorry for a lot of the drivers of this game, because, including the people that drove in the beta, they come into this game with, in the back of their minds, how to drive from the beta, how to drive before the massive update, the first release update, the update that came about a couple of days ago, and F2, and of course, as you said, F2 2019 are going to come in as well soon. But the session is about to start, so off go to qualifying.
Yep, take 2 is about to get underway for this one, and there we go. Now it's loading in.
Yeah,
so finally we can get underway. That was a bit of a worrying sign there. I thought, oh no,
I was scared.
But now we get ready for the one-shot qualifying, and well, I spoke to one of the drivers. I won't name him, but I spoke to him earlier, and he actually said, I'm going to take it easy in the F2 qualifying because I just don't want to invalidate. Because if I invalidate, I could be down in 19th, whereas if I take it easy, I could be up in 5th and 6th, and have a steady qualifying and then attacking the 5-lapper. So the approach for this is going to be such an unusual one for the guys. And the question is really for you, Tom: is there anyone in particular you think is going to take pole position from this one-shot quali?
Obviously, qualifying pace has always been different to a race pace. And some people are better at qualifying than they are racing. Some people are at racing than they are qualifying. I, for one, am better at racing than qualifying. And there are many drivers here who fit into all those spots. But I think it's going to be jolly. that comes out on top here, in the qualifying at least.
Well, we have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Of course, Killian in the chat, he's of course reserved for this season, but sadly has not got his hands on the game just yet, and I'm sure he's watching this on in the hopes that maybe soon it will come. He reckons KJ Gamer pole. Anyone else in the chat, feel free to put in your qualifying one-shot predictions, and also what do you predict for the final lap. But we're now getting underway thick and fast, and the man I want to stick on board with is without a doubt the champion of last season, and that of course is KJ Gamer. He's currently down near the back of the field, but now we're on board and flying through towards turn one. He's a bit deep there through towards two, and that is going to cost him dearly. At the front though, you've got Bottas up in front and May second, battling away with Jolly heavily, and there's F1 Gravity falling a bit further behind. Squidgy so far phenomenal display heading down towards turn three, but it's a bit jumbled up at the minute, and it might begin to calm down as the lap goes on, but KJ needs to pull something out of the bag here, because the first two corners and pretty much the first sector has not gone the reigning champion's way.
No, it has not. Still stuck all the way down there. Bottas 94 then, leading the qualifying session right now. Could something change drastically? I'm not sure. ESR amazed, just quickly jumping into first before Bottas quickly takes it back. But yeah, KJ Gamer still stuck all the way down in 11th. Sorry, 12th, apologies. I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe he's going to try and fight through the pack in the race. I'm not quite sure.
If no one disqualified from the session yet, by the way. LCR PT, a fantastic display in the last few corners. Sparshot has now rejoined, so he must have been a lag out from him, and his AI is currently bobbing around. But LCR PT currently battling over ESR Maze, but it looks like Bottas might have pole position here. He's coming round towards the line, and we were looking at one Carlin for the opportunity to get on the prime seat of pole for this qualifying race in the first round of WXL, but it looks like it's going to go into the other side of the Carlin garage. Bottas is on pole, and look at the gap he's got, but just look at how close it is in the end between Amazed and PT. Jolly in the end lines up P4, Gravity P5, LAR lives, the reserve starts on P6, and then you've got both King 25 and TR Dasher alongside Squidgy made it 7th and 9th for the Russian time team in the qualifying. But the crucial news is look at how far down the reigning champion. He's got it all to do in this one.
Yeah, not good from the damned driver at all. All the way down in 12th. You'd expect that the championship defender would try and push a bit more. Maybe he pushed all he could. Maybe it's strategy. I'm not entirely sure. So Amazed pulling out quite a good lap actually. Only 2 tenths off of Bottas. Jolly in 4th there. Someone who I thought would be on pole is almost just under half a second off of pole. So it could mean a lot of tactile decisions have to take place to try and get the edge over all the other drivers.
Yeah, a few drivers right off the pace there at the moment, but now we get in towards the 5-lap race for the qualifying. Now, this, of course, is the actual qualifying. We saw the qualifying to set up the order for this grid, but now we have the situation where whoever comes out in the lead in this one will indeed start on pole position for the actual race. There is no additional championship points to be scored here. This is all really just to have that opportunity to be on the prime seat of pole position. But in terms of, overall teams, you could say Paraquix and Adam Lee, both in Campos. Paraquix, of course, reserve. There's not really many teams that are too close together, other than really Russian time that starts 7th and 9th. MP Motorsports 2nd and 6th, but they're reserve in half of that team in LAR Lives. But we're going to get ready to get underway quickly in this 5-lap race. And, well, we just wait for the lights to begin to come on. Of course, no formation lap. It's straight on with the business here today. And we await for the 5 red lights, which are now coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And the qualifying race in WXL is off in Austria. It's a really poor start of ESR Mates. Jolly to straight away get past him from down towards turn 1. Bit of flying off. So they fly down towards PT. Johnny on the inside of Bottas down towards turn 1. Has he got the opportunity? Jolly now trying to find the way around the outside as well. Elliot lives on the P4. Mates goes down the field, down to P6. Contact in the background. I think Dasher involved in that. He falls right down the field. Same track. There's another car off as well. I think that was Adam Lee a bit further down the field, but down towards turn 3. PT still trying to defend on Jolly, and the yellow flags are waving. Unfortunately, the ghosted have come into effect there as well. But so far towards leading, it's Bottas who leads, PT 2nd, Jolly 3rd, Elliot lives in 4th, and King 25 in the 5th. But Amaze just did not get off that line at all. No,
going near the back of the grid as well, there were a few problems. I think Power Quacks, I think he was, he had a bit of a spin out as Underkit Cheetah. Oh, okay, never mind. I think maybe that was a bit of a connection issue. It seems good.
At the second section,
Yeah.
there's plenty of cars off.
Okay, so that is what it was. Okay then, so bottom 10, I don't really feel like had the best of starts. They all sort of came together at some point during that first sector. Still yellow flags in sector 1 and in sector 2.
Oh, Jolly's lost it!
Still
Big
leads.
news! The man in P3 in this qualifying has gone straight off at turn 12. Flying through goes Amaze. Liam trying to battle away with LER Lives and F1 Gravity as well. They were 3 wide heading down towards turn number 13. Massive news that the man that was in P3 and had a really good opportunity has now got to take at least, he's going to start P18. Aaron Batts plays. We did lose as well towards the start, but meanwhile, further down, Adam Lee has lost it at the second corner, near towards the penultimate corner as well, but up towards the leaders now we go. And Amazed, you have to say, starting P2, and has rather got away with murder after that start, because thanks to all the carnage, he's back into them podium places. Meanwhile, Pepsi Max flies past their legs, got front wing damage. There's also Blackster Hill, who's also reserved. Both got no front wing either, so there's absolute carnage in this qualifying race. And that opportunity for Caden to jump a whole row ahead of him. But all of this is just for qualifying, but everyone is lacking as if this is Otley for the 25 points.
Ooh, Pepsi Max coming off there.
KJ's off.
He spun.
Pepsi Max is off. KJ is off.
It's all pandemonium, isn't it? It's hectic. I think he came off coming into where Alonso had his massive crash in 2016. We're on about Pepsi here. And he came and rejoined the track as he's gone. Is that Cheetah? Oh yeah, that's Cheetah. He's had his front wing done in. A lot of problems here for the bottom pack. It seems that these sprint races are giving us a lot of action in only just 5 laps. Bottas still leads.
Well, the guys putting this all on the line, and Frederick Coinsat said this is the best qualified session of all time. Well, it was certainly not the most impact, let's put it that way, but we're on with the battle now for P3. This is the beginning of the second row on the grid. Amazed against King Liam 25, MP Motorsport against Russian Time Indeed. Who's going to come out on top? Liam squirming with the back end at the penultimate corner. And so far, I mean, Amazed, you have to say, he's been a bit poor in the race, but this is the man that in time trial holds the records at most tracks. He had like the world record at a lot of these tracks on the calendar in the F2 cars in time trial. Meanwhile, Blackster Hill has just dropped back 3 positions. Pepsi Max is on the back of Sparshot as well. This is all kicking off as they now fly down towards turn 3, but it looks like so far Bottas is having a nice and quiet race out at front.
Yeah, and of course, PT will be wanting to try and close that gap. Amazed is only just under a second from PT, so there could be a potential position change there. But importantly, Liam.
All contact, behind between LER Lives and Sparshot. Now trolled down the inside. Sparshot down the inside of the troll. He then makes contact. Round he goes. Blackster Hill. I think LER Lives had to go on the runoff. Blackster Hill in the end had to keep it on the track. He's now gone to the back of P9. I think he's got issues with some lag as well. But KJ's down to 11th as well after the spin. Sparshot still falling down the order and now down to 15th. Now retires. So currently one of the favourites for the constructors, the Carlin team, of course, they're going to become the Williams team. They will start currently in P17 and 18 for this one. Of course, all incidents that happen here today, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of them. The stewards are going to be busy. They will all affect potentially grid penalties for next week in terms of qualifying, so that might not actually mean where they finish. We're going to have all of them.
Gamer and Lives. Sorry to cut you off there. KJ Gamer and Lives were side by side going into that corner there, into the DRS zone. I think KJ Gamer defended that very well. He's trying to move his way up the grid. Apologies.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the battle up the front, Amazed, of course, has DRS now and is beginning to close in. Fast lap again for Bottas, 35.6. We're on to the penultimate lap of this qualifying race. F1 Gravity also just behind us. We've got a three-way train here involving LCR Petey, ESR Amazed, and King Liam 25. All drivers doing their best trying to make a scene. As Amazed is going the inside line down towards turn 3 and LCR Petey. Has he got the nerve? On the Trident, long way around for the MP Motorsport car through towards turn number 4. Again, has he still got it on the runoff area? He might very much do through towards turn 6. Incredible stuff, and Liam files on through as well. Incredible bit of racing. He's on the inside of Amazed, down towards turn 7. What a move this could be from King Liam 25 against the MP Motorsport team. The Russian time is into P2 and on the front row of the grid. How about that? But how long can he hold it? Indeed he can. What a move from King Liam 25, who now starts at the moment in P2.
That was an amazing, pretty much a double move, and that was an amazing move at that. Meanwhile, Gravity, F1 Gravity, sort of got an advantage of that whole situation there, as he sort of slowly started closing the gap between his position and, at the time, Liam, who is now in second. But he is at the end of this train. Can he close that gap even more and get PT in a compromising position, or can PT close the gap to Amazed, and then Amazed onto Liam? It's all of these great drivers coming into the final corner of Australian Grand Prix. Doesn't really look like anyone is able to make a move right now.
Well, yep, indeed. We're coming on to the final lap now with this qualifying race. You don't want to chuck it all on the line, because you've still got the opportunity at the least to think about F1 Gravity. Still on for P5, but I'm still thinking I'll have an opportunity on the second row of this Grand Prix. But so far, still not able to quite find the move, and none of them could down the second DRS straight. Now, in terms of DNFs, the guys that are at the back of the field that we have got confirmed, Paraquick's Adam Lee, both of the cars, I believe, are the Campos cars, are out of qualifying in this one. Yep, they are, which of course one of them is a reserve nevertheless. But meanwhile, up towards F1 Gravity, still couldn't quite find the way past to get himself up into P4 and LCR Pete, the Trident car, doing everything he can to try and defend. Down towards turn 9 and 10, though, he has got the opportunity. Down the inside goes F1 Gravity, and LCR PT brakes beautifully. PT gets a time point. That could come, could it go around the outside on the defence? He's not going to care about that time point. They're going to keep getting on with it. Down towards 11 and 12 in the ART car. Gravity not quite able to get that move done. But meanwhile, Liam is doing his best trying to get away from Maze, and Maze gets a time point as well. So has that all of a sudden promoted F1 Gravity up? We don't know. Down the third DRS straight, down towards 13 they come. Long way around on the brakes for F1 Gravity. PT has actually got throbbing damage on that front left. I don't know if you can see that, but still tries to hold his nerve through towards the second part of this double right-handers, and indeed does, just about through towards the penultimate corner. He's still shooting for the lunge, but PT covers it off through towards the penultimate corner. Bottas is going to be on pole position, there is no doubt about that. Bottas has taken pole in the F1 one-shot quali and pole in pole position for the F1 race. Liam comes home second in the end. Amazed is going to hold on to P3, and indeed use the penalties. It will be Amazed, Gravity, PT in fourth, third, fourth, fifth, and then in sixth comes Shadows. Fair play to this man, a phenomenal qualifying from him. Pepsi Max going to come home seventh, Trolled in eighth. We'll wait for penalties to confirm. Troll goes up to seventh thanks to the penalties. KJ will start from ninth in the end. LAR lives. TR Dash and Squiddy Genie will follow each other in a little freeway trail up towards the line. Will any penalties affect that? Yes, they will. Dasher in the end promoted into P10, lives down to P11. Squiddy Genie stays P12, but then Blackster Hill and Lakeet Cheetah both in the Prima Racing car, as Cheetah loses the back end out of turn 10. He's that far behind. We'll start from P13 and P14. But the crucial news for that one, Tom, is the guys need to really calm down, because yes, it's a qualifying session, but they took that as if it was the championship decider. Yeah,
that was extremely dangerous from, a qualifying perspective. You got to treat this as a qualifying session. You can't treat this. It is a race, but you can't really treat it like that. You've got to be in the mindset of caution, precision, and accuracy. And I don't think that there was many drivers that followed those sort of protocols, and it cost them positions. And in some cases, it costed them an entire, pretty much qualifying session. It got them out of the race. But congratulations to the podium finishers of this race. Of course, Bottas taking a easy win. I think after that first lap, he just sort of disappeared into the distance. Of course, Lehman Amazed finishing behind.
You have to say fair play to the man, and well deserved. He lines up on pole position for this one, with Kingdom 25 starting down in P7 in the one shot, got himself into P2. ESR Maze couldn't quite manage to take advantage after an awful start, but then the chaos around him managed to get him back up into P3. F1 Gravity in the end did beat LCR PT for P4. LCR PT in the end was 1 point starting and looked to be certain for the front row. He's going to start from P5. Shadows gets a strong qualifying for ART. He starts from P6 as an all-reserve team. In the end for ART, not quite, sorry, it's half a reserve for Shadows. Troll in the Prima starts from P7, Pepsi Max in P8. The Dams car of KJ Gamer P9, TR Dasher in P10, and outside the top 10 we've got LAR Lives, Squidgy Genie 3, and I've lost the rest of the list. But of course we'll go through the formation lap. But that was the quickness of, the actual Grand Prix in F2 done, and now we switch over to the F1 cars. So we don't stop really here today.
Yeah, I don't think there is any waiting whatsoever. I think also it's the adrenaline from the people who are in the car. They just want to quickly go as quick as possible. So we shouldn't be too long for the people that are watching. If you are just tuning in, you have just missed an exhilarating sprint race to determine the positions of which the actual race will be.
Yeah, of course, and the big talking point is at Dams, aka now going to become Mercedes, in KJ Gamer and Bottas, because Bottas starts on pole position. Now, this van was definitely one of the favourites heading into the new season for the F1 cars, have to be said, after what we saw towards the end of season 3. And KJ, of course, well, nothing we could really say other than the 2-time WXL champion. Of course, very nearly was 3-time, but wasn't to be in this one, as we now swiftly move over from blue to red into the Formula 1 cars, the absolute beasts that the guys have available. And whilst we're over for them to quickly select their cars, which shouldn't take too long, any big surprises from that F2 qualifying session for you, Tom? In fact, one of the biggest highlights has to be Kingdom 25's double overtake, because that was something to be seen.
Oh yeah, of course. Ooh, apologies about the voice there. It's really hot and it's taken a toll. But yeah, so although this is the opening round, already that's got to be one of the moves of the season. If there was going to be a top 5 or a top 10, that is going to be in that list, because that was an amazing move. The thing that surprised me the most, actually, was KJ Gamer not being in the top 5 at all. He qualified outside the top 10. The defending champion, his teammate got pole, but I don't know. I think that's gonna damage his confidence a bit when it comes to the actual race. And of course, the season ahead.
Well, we just had issues because for some reason Shadows has now come out and said that he cannot actually race. So it looks like they're going to be down to 18 for this one instead. I mean, I think everyone's motored up because I believe Shadows actually got P6 in qualifying. So the grid now is sort of rejumbled a little bit because as we're on the formation lap, as I believe we do have it on, please tell me we do.
Starting grid, collisions, category. No, I swear they used to put it at the bottom.
So did I. Why can't I see it? We're just waiting for the official confirmation to get underway because we have to wait for the grid to be sorted. So we'll just have to give ourselves just a brief moment before we get underway for this one, because of course it's a new concept for the both of us as well, Tom, in the combox. So in terms of getting used to it for us as well, it takes a lot of sort of getting to know. But we now know that of course we're going to go to 50% and we're going to get underway. But the crucial news: weather dynamic. So we could now actually have a weather-affected session. Of course, it was clear and set to clear in the qualifying session for the F2 cars, but now we're in the F1. We have no idea what the conditions could be. We could turn up and we could have a full wet race, which adds a whole another dynamic to it.
Yeah, of course. Could we see more moves, even in those conditions, from drivers like Liam? I'm still thinking that was a brilliant move. That was dangerous. That was tricky to do, and he pulled it off. I think there's going to be a lot of moves like that throughout the season, not just from Liam, but from drivers like Sparshot. From what I saw in the race alone, from this race already, PT he got his elbows out a bit. So I think Australia as a track in itself, anyway, always provides good action. But we shall see. Still waiting on confirmation as to what's happening. Hopefully we should be going shortly.
I think we're just waiting for KJ to set the grid for the F1 race. And then of course we will get swiftly underway with proceedings, where of course we should see a formation lap and then a full 50% race for this one. I'm just waiting. Yep, formation lap is on, which is good, so we can go a full run through the grid while the guys take their way around before one final time for, I believe it's 28 laps worth of flat out racing here at Australia to begin the calendar. And well, talking is well and truly done. It's now all down to the drivers, and you know, with such a well, the fact is, Tom, you're going to get this every single week with such a jumbled up grid. It's without a doubt going to be something where we're not going to be able to stop looking anywhere for about 5 laps as people actually do begin to sort of reshuffle in where we expect to see them. You know, you got lots of Jolly and Spa shot down near the back. You know, there's a few guys that upset in qualifying and got towards the front. So it really could be one of them races where we just cannot blink without missing something.
No, I don't think we can sort of take a break at all from this race at any point, even during, of course it is a sprint lobby, but even during that F2 race, I had trouble keeping up with what was happening. There was so much carnage in every corner of the track at any time. So, you know, hopefully people are smart and they won't be too dangerous to the extent that they were in the F2 race. Get your elbows out, but don't shove people off. Don't be too aggressive, you know. But hopefully it should be a good race.
And of course Australia, where the place which actually become the final round of the WXL season last season, simply because of the fact that we were unable to do the Chinese Grand Prix due to the new game being out, and we struggled to get for numbers. But we did have this one to finish it off, and of course it was actually a champion crowned here today. It was where KJ actually won the season 3 title to become a 2-time WXL champion, thanks to issues with Bacon Yum's availability. And well, that might be ringing in the back of KJ's mind, but this is almost like waking up and it's a whole different world, because now all of a sudden he's got it all to do in the race with how far he's qualified down, thanks to what was, there's no other word for it, Tom, a abysmal F2 race for him.
Yeah, I think he just got caught unlucky. I don't know if it was technical issues or he's just lost pace in F2 cars. I know a few drivers who are like that. F1, they're completely fine. F2, they'll struggle, or vice versa. You know, we might see Bottas struggle in the F1 cars, and we might see KJ Gamer excel in the F1 cars. We don't know. But it should provide a good insight as to how everyone handles these cars.
Yeah, well, as Ben Daly shouts in our ear about the information about the Australian Grand Prix, I just want to quickly point out to you, Tom, as well, because this is something that you don't really, it's sort of overlooked when you look at qualifying in terms of what actually happens is, of course, the matter of being conscious about your tyres and what you qualify on goes out the window, because everyone gets the free choice of tyres. Everyone's on a fresh tyres to use for the Grand Prix. So it does kind of change that mindset now, where everyone's like, as if it's always going to be a wet qualifying where you get the fresh choice of tyres at the start of the race. So, you know, now it comes into it of what tyres do you go on. You might see the guys at the back, they'll start on the more mediums and hards, and the guys at the front will start on the softs. It does actually sort of reduce, shall we say, that tyre strategy that people take in qualifying, where they're so conscientious about not wearing them. It's just all-out racing.
Yeah, I think it's going to make it a lot harder on the drivers itself in that case, because, you know, they're going to want to push, and they will push. But it's an even playing field. It's a way more even playing field than it would be if it was standard qualifying, because everything's default, everything's on zero. No tyres to worry about for the start. You know, starting where you are doesn't really matter unless, you know, you're caught unlucky. It's all down to driver skill at this point now, and of course car setup.
Well, here is your grid for the Grand Prix. So Bottas is on pole in the Mercedes. A good start for him for the season. Kingley in 25, after what looked to be a pretty poor qualifying by his standards in the one-shot quali, lines up in P2 in the end, thanks to a good move in the end on ESR Amaze and LCRP. And speaking of ESR Amaze, he starts in P3. Both of Liam and Amaze are on the medium compound tyres. Then in P4 and 5, F1 Gravity in the Alfa Romeo starts from P4 on the soft Red Bull tyre. LCRP team also on the Red Bull in the Toro Rosso. Trolled starts on the mediums in P6 with Pepsi Max in P7. Then comes KJ Gamer, who has to be promoted, of course, because we did lose Shadows in between the qualifying and race due to commitments, which is a shame. Nevertheless, KJ starts from P8. TR Dasher in the end in the other Toro Rosso starts from P9. LAR Lives in P10, who's been disqualified from the formation lap. Squiddy Genie 3, the second Red Bull, starts from 11th. Then comes a all Ferrari 12th and 13th with Blackster Hill and Unlucky Cheetah in those positions. They're on split strategy, but of course reserved for Blackster Hill, so I wouldn't expect him to really be communicating too much. Paraquix, the other reserve in the Renault, is alongside his full-time teammate of Adam Lee in 15th. Then comes both of the Williams in Sparshot and with Jolly as well. And at the back of the field is the second Haas of Aaron Batts Plays. But here we go. The talking is done. All of the pre-season hype has gone out the window, and now we just prepare for 5 red lights down under in Australia. 21 rounds await the drivers, and an opportunity to become Season 4 champion awaits. But who will have their name on the trophy come the end of it, as we get ready, as per usual, for the 5 red lights, which are about to come on shortly, if they hopefully will. And, well, we just still wait for them now. There they come now. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and WXL Season 4 is off now in Australia. Everyone's gone off wrong. There's absolute chaos off the line. Liam leads, Pete's up the second. All of a sudden, Pepsi Max is in the first. There's cars off everywhere. This absolute chaotic start. It was down to Baron Amrat's place up as well, but down towards turn 1. Pepsi Max leads. Kingley in 25 in second. LCRP third. F1 Gravity into P4. KJ Gamer up to P5. LL Lives. P6 Blackster Hill in 7th as a DNF and Aaron Batts Plays in the background. Everyone's shuffling on through. When I say shuffling, they're lagging on through, you have to say, through towards turn number 6. For the first time, Lives is made contact with Troll as well. Through towards turn number 6. But up towards the leaders somehow. It is Pepsi Max who leads. Kingley in 25 second, LCRP third. The entire field is off everywhere. The Brigster Hill's gone off and out as well. It's absolute chaos, Tom.
Yeah. Sector 1, what happened? Just what happened? That start.
Bottas has lost.
Someone jumps.
He's in the wall.
This is apt. So what's happened is they've taken their mindset from the F2 race and they've just copied and pasted it, which you don't want because stuff like this happens. And KJ Gamer,
I think we have a restart. Judging by that, I think it's every right that we should have a restart indeed. And now we're losing drivers, and as expected, for the second time into this session, we've got an issue, and we're going to have to restart this race. Unbelievable scenes, but
I was more confused than surprised, to be honest. I had no idea what to look at because it was all happening at the same time.
Because Pepsi Max, it was like some cars got like away early and got let go before others, and then all of a sudden that just created one big minefield for the drivers. But yeah, Predator coming into the chat with fair play with his comment. That's right, because one jump started, the other stalled. It was just the biggest chaos I have ever seen. I just cannot believe what I've just seen. And once again, we have to restart.
Another win for the Renault team then.
I mean, what can you say about that? That is without a doubt one of the most esport races.
I think I've discovered as to what has happened. I'm not sure who, but I think there was some sort of connection issue somewhere. Yeah, so that happened.
Yeah, it did. Nevertheless, we wait to get going once again for the third time in this league racing special that is supposed to be this new and brand spanking new and awesome concept that we're supposed to have here, but it's clearly not quite worked just yet. As I'm looking at Mercedes here and now Ferrari. I'm just using the new showroom that they have available to us. Ooh, can't make the online work. We have the showroom.
A fantastic feature of this amazing game. 2 years in the making for this showroom.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it. The cars look like a car.
Oh, look, it's an F1 car. And if we go to the right, it will be another F1 car. Whoa!
And then we have some classic cars.
It went from blue to pink. Oh, there's a nice...
Invites you to a pie. Need a third person helping out. Alright, you know what? Screw it. Today's feeling like one of them wacky days. Come on, Joe, in you get.
Yep, come on. he messaged me earlier and he was like, oh, do you want to do you want to hand in commentary? I was like, it's not my call, it's Jack's. Come on, Joe.
I knew something wacky was going to happen today. So let's bring in UK Dark Predator to really give us a thoughts.
Carl, you invite him and he doesn't even join. How impolite.
Oh, there he is.
Hello, Mr. UK Dark Predator. Would you mind checking to see if your audio is included in the broadcast?
It is indeed.
Ah, well, thank you for offering to help us in this endeavour of trying to describe what on earth has happened in an insane
such a crazy
F2
start.
race. Yeah, tell us your perspective from what you saw. What was your experience?
I said that Formula 2 race was the greatest qualified session of all time. There was incidents, big hitters going out of the race like Jolly and Keijo spinning out, and he had brilliant overtakes such as Liam doing a double overtake on both Amazed and was it LCR PT?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Phenomenal moves, and that start just was a bit chaotic, especially at the front of the field when you had Bottas stop in the street. We looked like the other Mercs jump started, and then they kind of went into each other and called. And then you had one of the Ferraris lagging through people, and he was causing absolute mayhem behind, which obviously caused a restart.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it was the lights bugged out. For some people, they were 5 lights and out, and then the others, because even in the com box,
Yeah,
we were a bit like, oh, hang on, are they going or not? So
it was on that fourth
think-
flight. One of the Mercs went, and I was like,
yeah, I saw that.
he jump started,
I
and
think-
obviously everyone was standing still because they don't seem to sync up properly with the main lights and the actual lights on the gantry for some reason. So there might be some few lag issues there in itself, let alone people's connections.
But hopefully, in a future update, if that is a known issue, then that can be fixed. And that probably will be fixed on the game 2 years in the making.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this game for a long time, and it still seems to be. It seems to have more issues every year. Like it gets released, so we'll see.
I think every time that they fix one issue, another arises. Fair play to them. They are trying to work.
They fix one and make 3.
Can I just say that by stream time, this stream should have just about been wrapped up in probably about 10 minutes. And we've not even started the 50% race due to the amount of issues we've had in this.
Yeah.
When are we planning to?
I think we're just waiting for a couple of
10
drivers. Jolly, I think, is also going to go. We haven't had official timing from race control to let us know when we're going to go. Of course, we are still watching. You have missed, well, 50 minutes of some absolute random action that has seen lag, crashes, spins, chaos, you name it. It is.
Tony Joe's going to crash right now.
Hey, just crashed. Yes.
Oh no, I'm getting my notebook out.
We actually.
You've been Fred's notebook after the race.
Fred's notebook, there it is.
Got the Tony questions as he had. Jesus Christ, I'm
New
sweating.
exclusive.
I have to say, I am sweating buckets in here.
I've got all the fans on.
I haven't got a fan.
I have 2 windows.
We're your fans.
I've got a blackout curtain.
that open upwards. I need to get blackout curtains. I don't actually have any curtains. It's a bit annoying. I use my TV as a blockade for my window.
I have a blackout curtain,
I've got
and
a
that is
big-
like absorbing the heat. I'm basically not allowing any
Oh,
light.
Joe,
in, so
just
like-
because we have fancy aircon and we don't.
Oh, it's a little crappy one from Asda's. It don't work.
So we had a look at one from Home Bargains. we went to Home Bargains where it was advertised like on our local Facebook page, like for the town, and they said
I love it,
$19.99, buy one now. And we went in, and I kid you not, they were sold out, and they only put the Facebook post up an hour ago. It was like ridiculous.
It is
I had-
stupidly hot, and tomorrow it's going to be even worse. So
37
more
We're
than
supposed to
Something
get
like
thunderstorms. Is it thunderstorms Friday?
so apparently,
It's supposed.
I don't know about here, but in Germany, apparently it's going to be from Saturday to Sunday. It's going to be thunderstorms throughout.
I
the
wonder
weekend,
why you
so-
mentioned that one.
Yeah,
For
I'm
you
debating
Bundesliga
watching that
and
one.
for you Bundesliga and motorsport fans out there.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So drink some water, stay out the rain, and don't get hit by lightning.
Or-
That's the advice from Pred Kravitz. Cheers, Pred.
Yeah, anytime. Back to you, Crofty.
Oh dear. Jack used to think compared to coffee.
I will take that.
Never thought.
You can be you can be Paul DeResta. Tom DeResta. Okay.
Tom
DeResta. Tom DeResta.
2 seconds.
Jackson Button, does that work?
Anyway, moving swiftly on, we're just awaiting, and I think people are now ready up because we have everyone who was in, and we're getting ready to have another go for this one, for the, what is this now, 3rd restart we've had here today. So if you are still watching, I have to say thank you very much for the loyalty. It's a pleasure to bring you the action, and sadly it's not been the best quality stream that you could possibly have asked for in this one. But we're now jumping in for another attempt at this Grand Prix here in Australia to officially determine who will actually lead the championship by the end of tonight. We're now about 10 to 9 local time in the United Kingdom, which means it is getting later and later, and we will surely finish this one way after we've gone into the dark. But we're now loading in for the race, and well, as Craig Kravitz is sitting there waiting to give us his information as and when we need it, we'll speak to Tom. And Tom, favourite for the race, please?
It's been so long, I have actually forgotten a lot of the statistics, but I think, from what I've gathered from that start, just as a predetermined idea, I think the top 10 are all going to sort of sit about where they are. Top 5 are going to move about massively, but the top the bottom 5, the bottom of the top 10, if that makes sense. I think they're all just going to play it too cautiously and going to be backed up. But I think a driver like Bottas or PT, something like that, they're going to excel. I think they're just going to push and pull away.
And we're just waiting to load in. Let's hope everyone does load in. Yep, we're in. Good news, lads. Everyone has loaded into the lobby, and we're ready to get racing here today.
So, Australia. Let me tell you guys a little something about this circuit.
Please do not.
No, Tom, because I need to do the grid. So, on pole position is, because I don't know, formation that might not be on now. So, Bottas is on pole, Kingdom 25 starts from second, Amazed P3, Gravity P4, PT P5, Trolled is P6, Pepsi Max P7, Championship Defender KJ Gamer P8, Dasher, his old rival, starts on side in P9, LAR lives P10, Squidgy in P11, Blacks to Hill and Unlucky Cheater 12th and 13th, Paraquicks in 14th, Sparshot is 15th, that is not right, it should be Adam Lee ahead of Sparshot, but it's not. Adam Lee starts from 16th, Jolly 17th, and Aaron Batts plays in P18. But now we await for the 5 red lights, which are not going to come on. We've got the formation lap, thank goodness for that. So Tom, tell us a bit about Australia.
So, Australia. The track itself, medium to high speed, 3 DRS zones to choose from. You've got the first one being the main straight, the second one being the one shown to you on the screen. Now, does it work like that? Or does it, the one on the
second
straight is the third one?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that was the second DRS, and the third one, which is newly added, is going to be after that quick left-right at the start of Sector 3. Unpredictable sometimes, Australia, I feel. As it has shown in the F2 race, unfortunately, if you did miss that, that was unfortunate for you, because that was an unbelievable race. Not in terms of racecraft and raceability, but in terms of carnage, chaos and action. It was a sight to behold.
Yes, we haven't got long left of the formation lap, so pretty good hand to Joe. Joe, talks about strategy for this weekend. What can we expect to see?
We can expect, I think what most people want to do is one stop, but if the pace is right, people try and do two.
We'll have to wait and see as to what they try. Of course, plenty of drivers on the medium compact tyre. The yellow walled, of course, the new confusing 2019 concept in which the red tyre is now the soft when it used to be super soft. The yellow tyre used to be the soft, is now the medium, and the white wall tyre, which used to be the medium, is now the hard. So, yep, continue to get more confusing. But on soft tyres is Bottas, Gravity, PT, Pepsi Max, KJ Gamer, TR Dasher, Unlucky Cheater, Adam Lee, and Aaron Batts plays at the back of the field. And on the mediums, we have Kingdom 25, ESR Amazed, Trolled, LAR Lives, Squidgy Free, Blacks to Hill, Paraquick, Sparshot, and Jolly. Both the Williams are on the medium compound tyres. But now, maybe this time, the talking might be done. And now we await to see who will be crowned an opportunity to have the championship lead come the end of today. Who will be season 4 champion? We'll find out in 21 weeks' time. Who will be the winner of the Australian Grand Prix? We hopefully should find out in about 45 minutes. So we've got a stray Renault, which is Adam Lee making his way to the field. What a fug life he lives that he's turned up 15 seconds late to the end of the formation lap, as we now get ready to build up towards the 5 red lights. And WXL Season 4 has had a lot of preparation before it gets started. Now we're ready, as we've got 3, 4, 5 red lights, and WXL Season 4 is finally off in Austria. It's a good start there from LRT Bottas down towards turn 1. Gravity immediately back in LCRP. I'm in a P4, Troll in a P5, Kenny in a P6, following through towards turn 1 for the first time. PT squeezed out by Trollers in a P4. What a start from the Haas in the background. From Gravity, Troll find the way back through up towards the front of the field. We've got further down, we've got Dasher and Pepsi Max, but side by side with PT and Troll. And as well, I think that is the Salva of F1 Gravity and KJ Gamer. And Gravity has come out on top of that one, down towards turn 5, long way around onto the brakes for him. Has he got an issue? Yes, he has. The Taurus also got stuff, and that's TR Dasher in the background. Blacks the Hill also off, Squidgy Free also off as well. Through towards the first thing, on towards leaders, Bottas, Liam and Amazed. What about further down? Was absolute chaos once again, Tom.
Yes, Squidgy, I'm not sure what happened, but he's all the way down in last. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Jolly managed to move his way up 6 positions, and he's now in 11th comfortably. It looks like he's just behind Lives. Of course, the yellow flag's out in sector 2, so all the drivers being cautious. Where was that contact?
A bit further down, unlucky cheating Adam Lee. I think Adam Lee sort of got squeezed out and the front wing flew off.
Gravity on Troll.
And meanwhile, yeah, here comes Troll. It's been written like a back of hounds. Firstly, Pete got past him down towards 11 and 12. Now Gravity's got past him at 13. Cage does not want to stick behind him through towards the final couple of corners. Meanwhile, further up as well, as you can see, Bottas still leads. Liam is still on for second. Gravity's gone wide. I think there's a bit of contact through the Troll. And Troll now swoops around the outside through towards the final corner and does just about. Meanwhile, it's now coming down towards turn one. It's Dasher trying to go against his former old rival, but can't quite just yet because he's gone to the inside of F1 Gravity down towards turn one. Who has got the nerve to try and get them in? KJ is down the inside of F1 Gravity. Can he do it long run through towards turn two? Trolled a bit wide on the exit as well, but shouldn't really hinder him too much. Still side by side down towards turn three. KJ is doing his best to try and hold his nerve. Meanwhile, in fact, who is that? The Pepsi West come out on Teal Dasher. Contact between them two. The pink pepper goes round and round at turn three. He's gone round the merry-go-round and well and truly has got to start picking his cherries. And meanwhile, Diaz lost unlucky cheats of both Ferraris around Blackstone as well as him. Meanwhile, KJ game is still on the inside. Contact between the two. KJ is off at turn number 7. Past goes everyone. That looked to be a lag incident to me, but Troll is now still holding down to 5th. Dasher on the inside of Gravity for 6th. This is insane stuff through towards 9 and 10. Can the season 1 old rival try and have a go? Now here comes LAR Lives. Couldn't quite find it, but they are going to try and go on the outside down towards 11 and 12. It's the American on the Brit. Has he got the nerve? Yes, he has. One and Williams the barrel. I think that is spar shot, and he does funnel on through as well. Where has he come from in all of this? But all this is battling way further down the field. But up front is fairly calm. Dasher, meanwhile, is trying to go round the outside of Troll down towards 13. Has he got nerve? Yes, he has. Troll is round. There's contact. Gravity collected as well. Cars are off everywhere, and it is absolute chaos. Jolly falls down 2 positions. Gravity now trying to defend against our Lives down towards the penultimate corner. Has he got the nerve? There's a bit of contact between the two. Still can't quite hold it through towards the final corner. He's still on the back window as our Lives. The Swiss trying to find a way past down towards turn one. But Jolly also fancies his chances and will go to the inside of the Swiss man down towards 1 and 2. Has he got the nerve? He slots in behind and thinks better of it. But I'm going to let someone else talk because this has been absolute chaos.
I was watching the battle behind him, Cheater and the Star Shot. They came together, and I don't think Cheater's very happy. He was moving about all over the circuit, trying to destroy his car. So I think a bit of a rage play there. A few side by sides going up fence and then it starts this race.
That most certainly is. And well, Tom, up towards the leaders we have to go, and well, you look at Bottas and Liam, they're having a quiet race, but PT is sticking there when they're about to be the mains, but they couldn't because they're soft tyres. He needs to take advantage of them as soon as possible, really.
Yeah, of course, from the F2 race, PE will be very familiar as to how Mays, Liam and Bottas all drive. He's clear of Dasher, he's not got to worry about Dasher at all for now.
Sorry, Tom, but Gravity,
Racing-
Lives and Jolly will battle the way still. Sorry, they cannot break themselves, but down towards turn 13, we've got to keep an eye on this one because it just will not stop. Meanwhile, Paraquix has gone to the outside on the Jolly down towards 13, can't quite find a way, but look at this, we've got a 5-way train here. This is only for P6. 8 points.
Yeah, ooh, Quicks, quack, sort of driving up on the inside.
Into the pit.
Bit of a lunch on the runner.
It was indeed. As Paraquix comes into the Dutchman pit. Sorry, that was F1 Gravity pitting. Paraquix on the Dutchman is going around the outside of Jolly down towards turn one. We're going to see some Williams gamesmanship here and sort of defend him. Oh, Paraquix is off. That's not going to help with the gamesmanship. That's going to mean that he goes straight on past and spar shot now into P8 and behind his teammate once again. And this 5-car train has somehow in the space of 2 corners become a 3-way train.
Both Williams trying to come up. After you, Tom.
Ah, thank you. The Gamer is looking at on the outside of the end of Sector 2. Can't quite get him done on Power. Power just getting earlier on the Power there, able to get away, but can KJ Gamer fight back on the outside, coming into this really slow corner if you think about it. Power gets the switchback done beautifully up onto the long left-hander. Now they're still side by side, the Mercedes and the when they switch. Can't quite get onto the inside, and it looks like KJ has moved up into 9th. Joe, you was going to say about Williams.
I was going to say about the Williams, they've done a brilliant job coming from the depths to the back of the grid. They've been sliding their way through, coming up from the ranks.
Oh, Mace is out!
Lives now.
Sorry, Amaze is out. Liam's off as
Liam
well.
out.
There's a
And
massive
Liam's
crash.
down.
Liam and Amaze are both out at the Australian Grand Prix. Has Liam gone off and Amaze been collected in that one? Absolute chaos between them two. That all of a sudden has now seen the two Toro Rossos in a respective P2 and 3, and the safety car is out as well because of that. I mean, we said it was carnage early on, but this is just getting ridiculous now, lads.
Wow. What a complete turnaround in this race.
Jolly's managed to move his way up to P4. That's very good from the Williams driver there.
Well, Joe, I'll come to you and
I'll
ask
try
you
and see
this.
if I can.
Pit stops, you know, what are we going to expect to see? Are they going to go on to the hards and try and tap in, or are we going to see the guys try and potentially just, you know, go on a two-stop if they are going to pit?
Most of them, especially the soft runners, they'll probably try and go fast towards the end. Some of the medium runners will probably either stay out or they'll probably do a double stop stint towards the end.
Well, who's coming out the pits now? Tom, who have we got on what tyres?
I shall just have a look. Apologies, I've been trying to sort out this heat. I've been trying to open up some windows. So F1 Gravity, Trolled and Pepsi Max, they've all come out on the hard compound. Yeah, that's the hard compound. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to this tyre thing. It's confusing me with like the reds and the yellows and right. So hard is white, correct? Yeah.
Yes, white is into
Yeah,
the
okay.
soft, medium, sorry.
Okay. I know.
Quick release.
Remember, I'm not sure if you're aware or if you remember, Jack, but remember that there was a bit of a glitch that it showed one tyre, but said that they were on the other. I think this glitch has carried over into this because it shows, for me at least, Pepsi is on the hard tyre, but it shows it's on the softs. So I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, it's the same with
Yeah,
Pepsi.
4
Who's
to 8,
come out.
all in the pits.
They are indeed.
Oh, Paraquix! Almost went into the back of KJ, they were right behind the safety car. You don't want to do that. Both of them have stayed out.
Well, in terms of strategy, everyone pretty much favouring the hard tyre, so are they going to just take them to the end in the hopes that, you know, they don't have to make that extra stop? But crucially, the big talking point, KJ and Paraquick staying out. Now, KJ, is this a gamble from him, trying the soft tyres to just sort of, you know, have the crucial track position, which at street circuit, even, you know, at a track like Australia where there is plenty of chance for racing, you still do kind of have that advantage from time to time. So is this the right call, or is it a big gamble?
Probably a big gamble from KJ. He'd probably be better off going on medium tyres like what Paraquix has done. Obviously, he stayed out. So he's in a bit of a better position in terms of tyre wear. But yeah, we've got some details of the incident. And Liam hit the wall, the invisible wall, and then Amaze, he got collected up in the incident. Bit of an unfortunate incident there. That caused a safety car.
Yeah, so the grid is pretty jumbled up in terms of the first couple of laps due to all the incidents, and we have lost 4 drivers in total. We've still got 14, which is, you have to say, is pretty good, all things considered. It might take a while to actually get back to green flag racing, because Trolled is well, he's now coming up to turn 3, and the leading pack are just now coming towards the penultimate corner. So we've got a big lull, which, who would you say that does favour, Tom? Does that favour the guys that have stayed out, the likes of KJ and Paraquix, or does it favour likes of Bottas and Pete, because it just keeps their tyres at a minimum wear, so they don't have to worry about them at all?
Honestly, I think it's only 5 laps in, which at most tracks would cause some issue, but because where we are, I think Australia's quite an easy track. For me at least, it's been an easy track on the tyre, so I think it's still an even playing field. Which of course, it causes an issue when you ask that question: is who's at a better advantage? Because I think either the hard compound runners or the soft compound runners are at any advantage over the other. So I think it's fair play, fair game to anyone as soon as that flag goes green. I think we're going to be waiting a while, as you said. Troll has only just come out in the final corner.
Yes, it might be.
And obviously, Tom, this is obviously one of the more easier tracks to overtake. These are straight tracks,
Yeah.
so track position can be crucial, but it's sort of things like compared to like Monaco, where you can just hold everyone up. With free DRS though, you can overtake, so you can keep in mind.
I think that's sort of what makes Australia a bit different to normal street circuits, because it's for a street circuit. It is so open, and it is, you know, so it's not like snap your finger and you've overtaken someone, but it is a lot easier than, you know, as you said, tracks like Monaco, Azerbaijan, Canada.
Oh, the safety car is coming in.
Yeah, safety car is.
Which is a surprise, yeah, because Troll is not that close enough, so he will close up. I don't think he'll be at the back of the train. I can't say I blame him, because now we're going back to racing, and now we come to see how are the Mercedes going to work together. Are we going to see some gamesmanship by them? Bottas and KJ, watch out for them two Toro Rossos, because they've had a majestic weekend as we now get ready to go back to green flag racing, and we are back racing once again in Australia as KJ safely leads the field away. Bottas has had the most disastrous start he has ever had, as now Petey goes flying on past down towards turn 1. A brilliant start from him. Dasher trying to take advantage well, but Bottas goes straight back past, and unsurprising, that's probably because of the fact that he had yellow flags. Indeed he did, and now down towards turn 3, Bottas lost a lot of times then leading 2, which is probably what they just wanted. The two Toro Rossos in the end worked their things out just about, as Dasher was on a little look on the inside of his teammate. Not going to be quite enough just yet, as everyone else sort of fairly funnels on towards the first couple of corners. But watch out for Jolly, because he could try a couple of things here. He could see the opportunity for a really good result, and so far he's on the back of the American and Dasher, still not quite able to find a way to put the pass just yet. I mean, Craig, let's have a brief, and I mean brief moment, is I'm going to take that further down the field you're looking out for to really make a late charge in this early safety car stages.
Yeah, so we've got the lights. Roger Bailey overtaking Pepsi Max here. He's on the medium compound tyres. He could gain up to the back of the hard runners, so he could probably do a good charge from 10th position.
Max managed to fend it through towards 11 and 12. Incredible bit of battle. Oh, Bailey's off! Off goes Squidgy Genie, and off surely.
Commentator's curse.
It is. Oh, we have to say sorry to him, but it happens sometimes in league racing, and now that means he's got it all to do in this one as well. And, well, he's still not out. He's still in the race, which is good. There's no sign of him DNFing just yet, unless he's spun again. No, he has not, but he's got no front wing at all, so he needs to get that one changed. But meanwhile, of course, no DRS in the first 3 laps of the safety car coming in just yet. But Paraquix is being absolutely left for dead by KJ Gamer, and that's not to be surprising at least. But now, Bottas, after what was a disastrous safety car restart, has got to really get his bearings back going again, because PT is still within touching distance of the net race leader.
I think what people are going to slowly forget as the race progresses is that the majority of the drivers are all on the harder compounds. They can push for longer. So, you know, drivers like Power, I think, is going to be the key driver, but I'm going to be focusing on here, because Bottas is on those harder tyres. So, he's not got that grip, but he can drive for longer. He can keep at it for longer. So it'll only be a matter of time before Power has to submit.
Oh, now Lives is off.
Or pit, and Lives. Unlucky for the McLaren there.
Oh,
McLaren's out
of the track.
Yeah, that was right at turn 12.
That'd be a second safety car.
Well, it's not.
People having to take
avoidance. Yeah, so you never know. That could be another one, but we'll wait to hear the official confirmation. But we've lost another in this one. The DRS now becomes enabled, which now, of course, means I'll have it down the 3rd DRS straight on this lap, and then, of course, turns 1, 2, and then 3. We'll have the advantage of that, as well as Jolly gets a time penalty as well, as he's on the back of TR Dasher, just behind who are on board with LCR Peter. We'll go on board with Jolly just for a brief second, close enough to quite compensate a move. But now with DRS enabled, does that rather give a sort of reprieve to Bottas, because in his only lap, PT has been quick, and the Squidgy Genie is also out of the session as well. You really did commentator's curse, didn't you?
Yeah.
We sort of did him over there.
Oh.
Sorry, Bailey.
Apologies.
So it's I've apologised in there.
Dasher, he is all over the back of him. End of this lap, maybe he has him. Start of the next lap, most likely will have him there, although he might have him at this DRS zone.
Meanwhile, here comes Bottas on Paraquix. He's going to the outside line down towards 13. Long around under the brake for the Mercedes, the man that has dominated this weekend and sails on past into P2 and can now begin to just make sure he minimises the gap as much as possible to his teammate. And now the question is, Paraquix going to come into this factor with the battle between PT, Dasher and Jolly now, because, well, Peter's sort of lost a bit of time on this lap to his teammate and to Jolly, so could this be a potential opportunity for them to have a go for P4 and what will actually become a net P2 in this race, don't forget. Due to the pit stops, this is actually a battle for P2, and, well, I mean, does that add a bit of pressure for the Toro Rosso team, because, you know, both of them are in a heavy scrap here for 2 podium places. They don't really want to compromise themselves, so is there going to be a bit of gamesmanship as they work together here?
It has to be.
Yeah.
One's trying to go to the
definitely
Paraquix,
feel
the other one's getting pounded by Jolly.
Oh, he's off! Paraquix is off and out.
He lost the rear going into that corner, and it's a well-known corner for drivers to lose it on, and it's taken another victim. Power is out of this race. I was going to say, he has to be careful because he's low on the OS, so he could slowly lose time to the car ahead, but obviously he's out, unlucky.
He was probably pushing too much from his medium.
Yeah.
Second one you've done now.
Yeah, we should probably stop talking.
I did the same thing. I look like taking up old fields in one lap.
Well, if it's not a sign it's been carnage,
gap on Dasher.
we have lost a whopping 8 drivers. I think it's 8. 7, sorry, we've lost 7 in 11 laps. No, we're not going to have the Strictly Come Dancing reference here today, but nevertheless, Jolly is still closing on Dasher. But the crucial thing for Dasher is he still has DRS on his teammate, and this could be where the gamesmanship comes from. But nevertheless, good exit from Jolly out of 2, down towards 3. He's an opportunity for a potential lunge under the brakes on the American. He's closing and closing. Indeed, does go down the inside, and Dasher just about leaves in the inch of space that, to be fair, he does deserve. And in the end, Dasher is still able to hold on to that position, but for how long? Through towards 6. He's a little bit wide out of that second, down towards turns number 7 and 8. Can he have the opportunity to sniff in the back of that back end? He probably smell the fresh exhaust fume, then loses the back end under the brakes. And here comes Lloyd of F1 Gravity. He's going to fancy his chances as well for P5, down towards 9 and 10. Surely this is a crucial move for him. Long way round for the man that really put a show on in the F2 race. He's onto the grass, he's F1 Gravity, and he's not able to find both our Sparshot and Kitty Ball. And that was surely a bit of front wing, was it? That must have been a bit of front wing.
It was an end plate.
Yeah.
End plate come off Sparshot. So
I was just going to say.
Yeah, that's front wing loss is going to be horrible in front end. Yeah,
I was just about to congratulate Sparshot as well, because he pulled a cheeky move there as Jolly.
Carry on to the back.
I think Jolly's lost some front wing as well.
Disaster.
I think, yeah, front left it looks like, just a little bit, I'm not sure.
Into the pits comes KJ for a new set of tyres, and it is mediums going onto that one, so he's going to be trying his damn hardest to make sure they get to the end. But the question is, where does he come out? You know, it's a long old pit lane around here. It's going to cost him. He's down to 9th at the moment. Is he going to come out behind Amrax Play's noise? Adam Lee and Pepsi Max battle on the way down towards turn 1. Yes, he is. And KJ has gone from the front of the field to pretty much at the back of it.
Yeah, he's done pretty well on those soft tyres. Extending them out, or you can push right to the end now. 15. How many laps to go? 16 laps to go. You can push.
Right, just to note, F1 Gravity, I think he's pushing a bit too hard. He was coming to the end of the second OS zone, and sort of nipped the side of the track and pushed him wide. So he's now lost a massive amount of time to Jolly. Jolly is now screaming away, and he's going to probably slowly try and close that gap between him and Dasher. Adam Lee keeping under a second between himself and Pepsi. Of course, India, I think, is being taken 10th by 10th in the braking of all the corners. I think that Adam is getting most of his time on him.
Yeah, it could be an interesting fight between those two, to say the least, because, you know, they're both on split strategies. You know, Adam Lee on them yellow walled mediums and Pepsi Max on the white walled hards. So we might see a sort of like Pepsi Max begin to pull away as the stint goes on between these two. So you know, Pepsi Max really just sort of trying to make sure he doesn't lose the track position, which, as we mentioned before, is a crucial thing at a street circuit. Down towards turn 3, I don't think Adam Lee's close enough for him. Pepsi Max has gone defensive, and that is going to compromise the line more than compromise it because he's off into the grass, and through goes Adam Lee. And we need to stop talking because the commentary curse is just getting worse and worse.
I think it's more of a case of waiting and it just sort of ends up happening. Sorry, Joe, continue.
Yeah, I've just been checking lap time. Johnny's been lapping 2 tenths quicker than Bottas in first position, so I think the front wing that I said earlier is probably, he hasn't got any damage. He's right on the back of Dasher now. He's probably going to
say that,
first place.
Something's going to happen now.
Scrap that! Scrap a bit of commentary.
Well, no, to be fair, he is closing the gap, and he's closing the gap.
Sorry to say, lads, but Aaron Back's place just falls behind KJ down towards 11 and 12. I did have my mic muted for that one because I forgot to take it off. But yeah, now KJ, with the first of many moves he needs to make to get himself up towards where he once was, is now into P9. But meanwhile, on the battle between Dasher and Jolly, crucially, Dasher's on DRS, and that's optimism for Jolly down towards turn 3. And we'll have to take the opportunity out of 2, try and get a good exit again, because Dasher didn't get a good exit last time, but he couldn't take advantage. But again, has the DRS and closes once again. He's not really within lunge range, but he's going to try and have a cheeky little look on the inside of the American, but never going to be quite on. And once again, I think maybe there is a bit of gamesmanship here between the Toro Rossos, because PT sort of lets him close back up again.
Yeah, I think he's trying to keep Dasher in that slipstream, just in that pocket, that window where there is no dirty air, where it's just clean. So obviously this is going to be an issue for Johnny, but just nearly scraping the back of the car there. Something I've noticed is that Dasher wastes his ERS, whereas Jolly conserves and then attacks. I think that's going to be the fault of Dasher. Eventually he's going to run dry, and Jolly's just going to have all the ERS in the world and just walks past him and move on to his Toro Rosso teammate. So Dasher better be careful. He has to watch his ERS, otherwise it's going to be the fault of him, I think.
Yeah, Joe, so you mentioned that you saw Jolly was lapping quicker than Bottas. So it's interesting that could actually compromise because Pepsi Max is absolutely destroyed, another word for it, by KJ Gaming, who's now into P8 in this one and continues to climb up towards the front. But yeah, Jolly was still lapping quicker, and now it comes to the question of, if these guys are, Petey still kept relatively there or thereabouts in terms of Jolly's pace. So, maybe Petey's still within a touching distance, and maybe he needs to sort of eliminate this team gamesmanship, and hopefully he could try and close up towards the leader.
Yep, I'm just looking at lap times again. KJ's just done the 24.8. Bottas is doing a 25.6. So he's looking considerably faster, obviously. He's in 8th place now, 2 seconds off Adam Lee. He was on the same kind of tyre, but a bit older. So we'll see how that one plays out.
Well, on lap 16 of 29 in this one, we've still got a few, more than a few more laps left to go with this one, and currently we are on for what is without a doubt one of the most barnstorming rounds. If you are a viewer, if you are a driver, it's one you'd probably rather forget. To kick things off in season 4, we have been live now for nearly an hour and a half in what has been one of the most sweaty environments possible as the UK basks
This
in a
heat is
wave
awful.
here today, and that means we are suffering badly. I have got sweat dripping. I'm not going to take my clothes off, I'm going to peel them off tonight, let me tell you that much. A bit much TMI, but you never know.
Hot, honestly.
But 17 of 29 now begins, and this freeway train is still beginning to form, and you begin to question if Toro Rosso keep this gamesmanship up, will gravity come back within the grasp, Tom?
I'm not so sure, and here's my theory on this. I think Jolly's going to get the post better, purely because, as I said, he's watching the DRS. If you notice, he's staying whenever he's right behind Dasher, he switches his car into, he's probably in lean as well, into 0 DRS mode, which is none. So he's just using the slipstream of Dasher, which is letting him propel. So he's saving the ERS, which is going to let him get away after he will eventually catch him. Because by the looks of it, the Toro Rossos, they're struggling to try and keep Jolly off of their tail. Of course, gravity, as you said before, could catch up. I don't know if this battle continues. Maybe, but if Jolly can get ahead of the Toro Rossos quick enough...
Oh, Pete's off!
I think... Oh! Never mind.
LCR PT at turn 12 has well and truly lost what could be a brilliant day. Here comes Jolly as well through towards turn number 14, down towards 15. Long way round on the brakes for the Williams. He's not quite got the nerve to keep it in there. And now we'll surely think about having to go down towards 1 and 2. Now, there's no doubt about Toro Rosso gamesmanship because there is only one there to really have a go at defence. But down towards 1 and 2 they come. Jolly is round the outside, under the brakes. Has he got the nerve in that Williams? Yes, indeed, he has. Dasher is now off. And the Toro Rossos go from 33 points to barely a handful in the space of half a lap. Dasher falls down to 5th. PT is down to 7th. Disaster for the Toro Rosso team.
Oh yeah, it's very good spot. He's sort of been quiet this entire race, hasn't he? Sparshot. He's just sort of he's slithered his way into 4th position.
He's just let everyone fall off the head of him, and he's just come straight through the field. Brilliant.
I've noticed. I don't know about you guys, but I noticed that as soon as we started talking about the Toro Rossos,
the commentators curve continues.
It keeps happening. I've never had it to this extent. But okay, had the Toro Rossos stayed in, at least okay. Let's go on the basis of had Dasher not spun at turn 1, he still would have been behind Jolly. Jolly would have disappeared anyway because, as I said, ERS. But Dasher's on 20, and Jolly is 56. He doesn't need to waste ERS, he doesn't need to use it. He's conservative. I think that's what puts some drivers above others.
13. Incredible scrap here for P7. Even though Petey's lost out and lost plenty of positions, he's still giving Adam Lee a good old fight. But I think Adam Lee actually has front wing damage himself because he's losing a lot of time. It looks like to be both end plates are missing there on the right, and yes, he is coming into the pit. Meanwhile, old rivals. This is old rivals reviving. This is Dasher and KJ, a story of season 1, when KJ took the championship ahead of what was the Williams and the Mercedes. But now it's the Mercedes and Toro Rosso, and under the brakes goes his old foe and makes contact with him through towards 3. Was a front wing fly off there? I'm not quite sure. Nevertheless, Dasher falls down to 6th, and KJ, given all this contact, he's still got a very good chance at a podium here.
Yes, Sparshot's still got that front wing damage to cave the shoot flies off from him and obviously get it past.
This is just...
Meanwhile, Bottas is in the lead, has started in the lead, and has maintained the lead. All race, isn't he?
No, not when,
yeah,
before they pit, really, was the only real time.
He's picked up a few penalties in the last couple of laps.
Jolly is only 4 seconds, and that is closing, so that could potentially damage his position at the end of the race. Yeah. Never mind, ignore what I just said.
Jolly in that lap 4 tenths quicker than Bottas. Closing in, Sparshot gets 3-second penalty. His KJ's right on the back of him.
I mean, what do you do if you're someone like... Oh, actually, no, KJ goes straight. I think actually Sparshot sort of letting him go, really, there. I think he knows that battle's not ready for him and still tries to continue. And you have to say, fair play, as you mentioned, the Sparshot, he's just kept his nerve throughout this one. You know, he had a bit of damage, he's been battling with gravity a little bit, but other than that, he's just sort of taken advantage of everything that's happened. So, but still, you have to think, you know, the Williams team, last season they were a constructor's favourite with Waystall and Bacon Yum, and now this season, Jolly and Sparshot, they're another one to watch out for towards the front. But meanwhile, by the way, look at the amount of time Jolly's bringing in on Bottas here. It is coming down at a rate of knots.
Yep.
Of course.
Not sure.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, both have penalties, as previously mentioned, so I think it's going to even out if they do come side by side. How many seconds is Jolly on versus Bottas?
I believe he's on 2 penalties.
He's on 2 penalties. As Pepsi Max was off there, he's still in P10. We have got now 10 drivers, and doesn't mean everyone will score points. It does finish. But yeah, just looking at the gap, and you know, it does actually mean that we're not done just yet. You keep worrying about the battles between like Gravity and KJ and, you know, Spar Shot, but then all of a sudden, Jolly has just like decided that it doesn't matter that I started down in P17 of the game. He started on the back row of the grid and is now in P2 and thinking there's a possibility here of 25 points as KJ blitz the fastest lap of a 24.4.
He's on the hunt. I think KJ Gamer is going to try and close that gap to Gravity at least, and then if he can get to Gravity, try and focus on Captain Jolly. He's on the sort of compound. He will most likely probably is going to take those tyres to the end of the race unless something happens, but on strategy-wise, that's to the end of the race, so he can just crack down. He can just focus on catching Gravity and potentially catching Jolly.
Joe, just a quick question for you. You know, obviously, you've seen the gap come down to Jolly. How do you reckon Bottas will respond to this? Will he start pushing, or is it possible that he might let him even close up and just think, well, he's got more penalties than me, so long as I stick within a region of him, I've still got the 25 points?
I think he's just saving everything, saving tyre wear, saving electrical energy, because at the moment he's on 80% compared to Jolly. He's been on 50% and it's been pushing. Of course, with the penalties in mind, Bottas doesn't really need to push anyway. He's already got a gap, plus a penalty advantage, unless in closing stages he gets another one.
Oh,
painful.
Jolly 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings.
We should seriously consider stop talking.
This is just getting ridiculous by this point.
Could you imagine if this is how actual F1 works? Just that Crofty says something.
Wish it was.
Oh god.
Yeah, Hamilton wouldn't have scored a point all season by the sound of it.
Oh dear. Question, Joe. Because, of course, well, I'll be in touch with it. I am nowhere near the pace of Johnny. I am, like, I'm a laughing stock on pace compared to Johnny. Whereas a driver like Jack or like you, Joe, have a better chance than me. So, if you've got Johnny, say you're Bottas right now, and you've got Johnny storming up behind you, what's going through your mind right now? What sort of things do you have to do as the driver to try and stop that Williams from trying to overtake you?
You got to keep calm, be focused, because any little mistake and Jolly will pounce on you, and it could go in a matter of seconds. Just keep it cool.
I think that's what it is. I think it depends a lot on the driver. Obviously, we know Jolly as, you know, as you said, will pounce when a mistake is made. I'm more of a cautious driver. If someone makes a mistake, I'll just say, like, look, just have it. It's not my battle. Just go. So,
Yeah.
Jack, how would you deal with that situation if Jolly was, you know, right behind you?
Well, I think, you know, you just, like Joe said, just got to keep your calm, keep your nerve, you know, just in the hope that, you know, you just don't make any silly mistakes. I mean, I'm one for it. I get really nervous when I'm in a battle for any kind of position. So, you know, you come into a situation where you've got the opportunity for the 25 points to walk out with a championship lead out of Australia in this season. You know, you do begin to question. You think, you know, have I got this all wrapped up in a nice shiny bow? And you have to admit, on the grand scheme of things, he does. But, you know, he could be a bit nervous at the moment because Jolly is going to drag that down. But it's only down 1.4 now. So I think maybe Bottas might let it linger at a sort of certain gap, which he knows is just far enough so he can't do anything, but also not close enough, not too far away to the point where he can put his feet up and relax. He doesn't want to do that in his final couple of laps. Meanwhile, in a battle I was just about to mention, in a battle further down the field for P5 between Sparshot and Dash, because Sparshot is carrying that front wing damage. And, well, I'll ask you this, Joe. Does that demoralise you a bit when you're in a battle and you have front wing damage and the car behind doesn't? Does it kind of take that battling aspect away?
Yeah, it does. It demoralises you and takes away any sort of hope that you get, especially with Jack being in such a good position. It makes you feel, if you're passionate, there's nothing you can do unless you box and you'll lose it more times, so you just got to get on with it.
Well, here comes Dasher again. He closes up towards turn 3, but still not quite to find a way done just yet. But then Sparshot's going a bit deep in towards 3, and That's what we do to the understeer, and then through towards 4 again. Still not quite close enough. Then through 5, and still not enough for him to really consider a move at this point in the Grand Prix.
Jolly's only half a second from Bottas.
And he is. I've been watching the gap come down. It was 9/10, would you believe it, at only the first sector. And all of a sudden now it's come down to a whopping 3/10 towards the final couple of corners on this lap as well. Sparshot still defending. Gravity might be about to have a really big upset to his name. He's drove superbly, has the Alfa Romeo, but I don't think it will be that podium because Jolly KJ is right on the back of him. But we're on board with Jolly through towards the final corner. And now, Tom, this could be a really crucial move as Sparshot, meanwhile, is trying to defend dash through towards 13 and has done just about with a bit of a squeeze under the brakes. But who's going to come out on top? Tom, take it away. Bottas or Jolly?
I'm not sure. Looking into the statistical analysis, Jolly has less DRS, but he's more attack, and he goes onto the inside of the corner there, and he just tries to squeeze past. And can he get the move done? Yes, he can. He's into the lead of this Grand Prix. And Bottas!
KJ. Well, Bottas has lost his front left.
Yeah, Bottas hit the left side of the track as he came around the corner. I think he just slipped the gear and put too much power into the throttle. So this is obviously let Jolly slip away now, but
disaster. But meanwhile, here comes KJ on gravity. Sorry, down towards 9 and 10. Of course, this is going to allow these two to close up as well as KJ snaps the back end through towards 11 and 12. Man, they're trying to mount a charge. The two-time WXL champion on F1 Gravity, the newcomer to the league, is trying to fend towards 11 and 12 and does just about in the exit of 12. Down towards turn 13 though. The DRS in the favour goes to the Alfa Romeo, but KJ is still closing up and goes to the outside line of the brakes. Gravity, of course, committed to the inside and has been compromised a little bit, but fortunately, thanks to that multiple line corner, it's going to hold on. But crucially, the big news is it has to be 6 seconds between Bottas and Jolly for him to take the checkered flag. Handbags are well and truly out, and Bottas is into the pits. He cannot manage the damage, and the Mercedes, after dominating the whole weekend, it looked to be surely the perfect free of pole in one shot, the win in the F2, and then surely the 25 points in Australia has well and truly set sail for what could be a disastrous Gravity loses the back end at turn 3 between himself and KJ through towards 4. One Mercedes gains, another is misery and defeat. KJ in the second, Gravity down to third. Ayala Bottas is in P7. This is quite astounding.
Now with KJ into second, Jolly has to push because he's got two penalties. KJ's only got one warning, so yeah, he has to push. Technically it's only a second now, so it's going to be very close in the last few laps of this race.
Well, I don't know how to tell you this.
I don't think Jolly knows that either.
It's 3 time penalties for Jolly. So at this moment, because KJ has none, KJ leads the way in this race. I cannot believe I'm saying that. We all thought when he stayed out, he'd be battling towards the depths of the points to try and get something. And unbelievably, with just 3 laps to go, could this be well and truly the man that had a championship won here last season at the what was penultimate round, but then became the final round? Well and truly have what could be another celebratory day down under for the Mercedes. KJ is on his way and only 3 laps away from what could, without a doubt, in my opinion, be the best win I have seen KJ Gamer have in WXL, full stop.
I think it has been a very exciting race throughout. So much has happened that has changed the game drastically as the race has progressed. Meanwhile, Dasher all over the back of Sparshot as we've got yellow flags in sector 3. I'm not quite sure what that is all about. Apologies, anyway, Dasher on the back of Sparshot. We've got Troll on the back of Adam Lee. I think Adam Lee is just going to come short of good defending there because of that ERS difference. I feel like Troll might be able to get him. There's only 2 laps.
I mean, look at the tyre
Left.
difference though. 21 laps on hards to 8 laps on softs. It might be difficult, but meanwhile, Dasher
Dasher.
on Spa Shot. America against the UK. Fresh from wing against the damaged one. Down towards 13. Long way around, and Spa Shot loses the back end. And just like that, the Toro Rosso gets what you have to
He
say
picks up a time really.
he has deserved. Dasher has been superb in this one. The same for PT, but it's just one mistake and they've lost their opportunity at a podium. But we're on the penultimate lap of racing, and well, Jolly, he has done brilliant. There's no other word for it. But KJ has been, well, mesmerising. It is an absolutely unbelievable display.
I think it's the best thing to take away from here is, you know, although it may seem like things will not go your way in a race, don't just retire, because, you know, he's gone from all the way from where he started to where he is now. He is at this moment in time winning, and of course Jolly is trying to do all he can to get away from KJ. Of course KJ is only on 10% ERS versus Jolly, who's just got under half, so we might be able to use that to try and push and get a couple attempts each corner out.
Does he have the tyres? You know, he's done 22 laps
not
with
sure.
23. And I mean, Gravity's done 24. Fair play to him for that. But does KJ have the tyres? You know, he's done 15, nearly 16 laps on them mediums, but they do go fairly a distance, so you would feel he's going to be okay. But after 101 minutes of live streaming, we're on to the final lap of this first, yet only first of 21 rounds in WXL. And there is only one word you can use to describe it: chaos.
It has.
Exhausting.
Honestly. Exhausting.
On a hot day like this, well, it's really
F2 race. Oh, of course, you've got the weather beating down on us. Of course, it's still dark in our sort of cooler, but at the start, it was pure heat. We had the F2 race, we had the chaos there, we had the start of the first F1 race where we had a bit of a technical issue that had to cause a restart after. Unspeakable things that happened. I literally cannot explain what actually happened at the start.
Absolute drama.
It was, but sorry, just entering the final steps for the final time for the opening here at Australia for WXL.
There will be a P2 for him, but the question is, will he really think there could have been a P1? The same as what you have to say for ILR Bottas. They have both driven superb. Jolly may be about to think that the 25 points is going to come from Williams down under, but it's not to be today. Jolly has done superb and deserves the full credit of the checkered flag. But a heroic defending champions roar is for KJ Gamer as he takes the victory in Australia. F1 Gravity in the end comes home in P3. TR Dasher in the end, I think due to penalties, will come home in P4. Wait for the official confirmation of Upside. He comes. Yes, he does. Doesn't quite beat Gravity. In the end, Sparshot comes home P5. PT comes home ahead of him, so it's 4-5 for the Toro Rosso team, so 22 points. ILR Bottas comes home P7. Then it's going to be Adam Lee P8 and Troll P9 with Pepsi Max a whole lap down. But we have now been live, lads, for 103 minutes. And finally, round 1 of 21 is complete.
And I think we might as well do this now because it has been a very long race. Driver of the day, Joe, who do you think takes the spot?
It's got to be Jolly, coming from 17th place, challenging for the win with this race. With only the penalties coming about, he's got to be up there with contender. Obviously KJ as well, making that great gamble under the safety car. He took full advantage of that with the race. And for this, I'm going to go with Jolly.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I think he drove a superb drive. Unfortunate that he couldn't. It is a bit annoying that as a driver when you drive and you fight so hard to get so far, and then, in all honesty, a measly time penalty costs you the race. It will cost you the first position of the race. But nevertheless, I think for me, Jolly has to be given the drive of the day, in my opinion, because that was a superb drive.
I'm going to give mine to KJ. I'm sorry, you just can't. I think that is going to go down as one of the best drives I've ever seen KJ Gamer do. I quite frankly, that was just astonishing. I did not at all think for a second he was going to take the victory until he actually did. Like, absolutely insane. But now we have we have 2 of them in. We're just waiting for one more, which I believe is Jolly. Yes, it is. We have all 3 now in, and we'll get thick and fast underway with the podium questions, and we'll start with the race winner, the defending Season 3 champion, and KJ. You must be just as surprised as I am to be up here, because when you pit for them mediums, it just looked too far.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a podium would be just possible, but the win, Jesus. Oh, so happy with that.
Well, yeah, just take us through it, because, obviously you started on the medium. You had, actually, first thing first, take us through the F2 qualifying, because you had an absolute disastrous show in the first qualifying of the new season. What actually happened?
Well, first of all, I'm not very good in F2, so I qualified badly, and I think someone hit me. I think it was Jeter, he outbrained someone hit me. That caused me to spin, and then I was basically last, or nearly last. But I came back to like 8th though, so it wasn't terrible. But yeah, it wasn't a great first qualifying though.
Well, yeah, and just moving on to the race, and I have to ask this, during the safety car, obviously everyone else pit for hards. Did you decide to split the strategy with your teammate, or was that just in general, I just wanted to do this strategy right from the get-go, and you stuck it out?
Well, we were in a party, we were discussing it. I felt if I pitted, I'd get held up pits, as I thought I'll just lose positions if I do that and not gain anything. Plus, I'd just be on the same side as everyone else, just be on the hards. Well, and then if I stayed out, I would be in the lead. I'd be on softer tyres, try and pull a gap out, and then pit onto mediums, and pull my way back through. I didn't say it didn't work out that well, but it worked out pretty well in the end.
Yeah, and well, final question for you. You now walk out with the championship lead out of today, 25 points. Bahrain next week. In the deserts of Bahrain, you're expecting an equally chaotic race.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be something kind of amazing at F2 in 1 week. I'm probably going to qualify badly again. So it might be a season of me trying to recover in the race. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, that we will. But congratulations on today. In my opinion, you might argue, I think this was the hardest fought WXL victory you've had out of all the ones I can remember.
I think so, yeah.
But still,
for sure.
Yes, most definitely in that sense. But congratulations and best of luck with Bahrain. And moves swiftly along to a man who came home P2 and was probably wishing it would have been P1, but a late charge definitely opened up the opportunity. Jolly Williams, first things first, P17 to P2. That's still not a bad result, but are you a bit disappointed they won the 25 points? Well, yeah, and just take us through what actually happened in the F2 qualifying. Similar to KJ, you had a pretty poor display in P7. Well, I say pretty poor. It was really poor, and of course you crashed out in the 5-lap race. But what actually happened? Because we saw you go off, but obviously I spoke to you, and you said there was contact. Can you describe to us actually briefly what actually happened? Well, yeah, and you still mounted a charge, and as the race went on, you looked solid to keep getting more and more points as the race went on. But then obviously you got what happened with Bottas, and just take us through what actually happened, because we didn't see too much of it. And all of a sudden we just see him off at turn 5. Was there any sort of contact involved or anything like that? Well, yeah, and just talking about next week, the deserts of Bahrain. Your thoughts on the Bahrain track? You're going to come back with a hope that you can try and get on that top step. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Congratulations on P2 again, and best luck for the Bahrain Grand Prix next week. And we move swiftly along to the man that came home P3 and has just described it in the chat as is quite possibly one of his worst podiums in league racing. F1 Gravity or Gravity. First thing first, my friend, congratulations on P3, but a rather chaotic affair out there for you. It was constant back and forth battling the entire way for you.
Yeah, it was quite exciting and quite messy. I got wing damage right at the start and hit onto hards at like lap 3. And then everyone ahead of me just sort of crashed.
Yeah, that's the best way I'd describe it. That sounds like the right way. But obviously, as the race went on, you climbed up the field and you got home in the P3, and well, you look to be quite consistent out there. Is that going to be a factor for you this season? Just trying to keep it consistent and just staying out of instance to try and bring home the points, because that seems to be so far like your strong point.
Yeah, I think so. I don't have the pace of the top guys, so if I can keep it consistent, I can steal points here and there.
Well, and I mean, currently, from my facts that you are P3 in the championship, but come the end of the championship, overall targets for the championship, where would you be satisfied come the end of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at round 21?
That's far too far ahead to think about. I really don't mind, as long as I'm not right at the bottom.
I like that mindset. Just the thought, anywhere will do. I love it. All right. Anyway, that will conclude that. Congratulations, my friend, on P3 here today. It was always a pleasure to have you here, and well, congratulations. I think it's a debut podium as well, so well done on that. But that will conclude that. Thank you to Joe and to Tom for joining me in the Combots. Of course, Tom will be joining me every single week. Joe, hopefully when he does get his wheel fixed, will be back behind the wheel in the reserve team at the moment, so he's a reserve. I'm sure won't get full time as the season goes on. But that will do that. After 112 minutes, nearly 2 hours worth of live streaming, we are finished. In the books is Australia, and well, I would see you same time, same place next week for the Bahrain Grand Prix, but sadly I am unavailable due to work being work. But nevertheless, I'll be back for the Chinese Grand Prix hopefully the week after. But thank you guys for watching as per usual, and take care. Until next week, enjoy the basking heat that is the UK summer. Thank you guys, and goodbye.